Next on BGSU Brain Game, it is St. John's versus Lima Shawnee. I think we better prepare for a maelstrom of the minds. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it going to be? Only one way to find out. BGSU's Brain Game starts right now. And welcome to BGSU Brain Game. It is St. John's versus Lima Shawnee. Let's check out our starting lineups. For St. John's, led by Coach Tittle, it's slot number 1, we have James, a senior. In slot number 2, it is Josh, a senior. In slot number 3, it is Stewart, the junior. Now for Lima Shawnee, led by Coach Young. In slot number 1, we have Angelina, a junior. In slot number 2, we have Georgiana, a junior. And in slot number 3, another junior, and it is Ezra. Welcome to all of our players and to you at home. Going to start things off with a toss-up round. In this round, there are 10 questions. They are worth 10 points apiece, but there's no deduction for an incorrect answer. So have some fun, take a deep breath, and let's relax into this first round. I say if you think you know it, go for it. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. St. John's, Lima Shawnee, you at home. Toss-up round starts right now. Multiple choice question. Israeli self-defense system, often used by elite military units, developed for real-world situations and prioritized finishing a fight as quickly as possible. Is this defense system known as Gideon system? B, Krav Maga, or C, that would be Lima Shawnee, Ezra?
C.
Incorrect. Hisardut is C. St. John's, chance to steal. James.
B.
It is B. Krav Maga is what we needed there. Second question, also a multiple choice question. Which Renaissance city was first ruled by the Medici family? Is it A? That would be St. John's. Josh?
Florence.
Florence is correct, and that is also C. Didn't even need A or B. What term describes a legislative tactic used in the U.S. Senate? That would be Lima Shawnee, Ezra.
Filibuster.
Filibuster, for preventing a vote or to kill a bill by talking it to death. What was the first car to be mass produced? That would be St. John's. Josh?
Ford Model T.
Ford Model T is correct. Name the architectural style characterized by pointed arches. St. John's. Josh?
Gothic.
Gothic is correct. What European country is bordered by both the Adriatic Sea and the Ionian? That would be St. John's. Josh?
Greece.
Greece is correct. According to the children's book, if you give a mouse a cookie, what will the mouse, that would be Lima Shawnee, Ezra?
Milk.
And what will ask for once he has the cookie? It is milk. Multiple choice question. Which book was a result of a bet that Dr. Seuss couldn't write a story with only 50? That would be Lima Shawnee, Ezra.
One fish, two fish, five fish, blue fish.
Incorrect, with only 50 unique words. Is it A, the Lorax, B, green eggs and ham, or C, fox in socks? That would be St. John. Stewart.
Fox and socks.
Incorrect, green eggs and ham. What is the term for a form of government led by a small elite group of, that would be Lima Shawnee, Ezra?
Oligarchy.
Oligarchy is correct. What ancient civilization built the Hanging Gardens? That will be St. John's. Josh?
Babylon.
Will we accept Babylon? Yes, we will. End of round. Let's take a look at our scores. We have Lima Shawnee at 30 points and St. John's at 60 points. Just getting warmed up here at BGSU Brain Game. Stick around. Risk and Reward is coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. The score is Lima Shawnee 30, St. John's 60 points. Both teams have elected to stay with the same lineup from the last round, so we're moving right to our risk and reward round. There will be three topics to choose from. Lima Shawnee, you will get to make the selection first. Inside that topic will be 10 questions. You will own all 10 of those questions. First 9, 10 points apiece, no deduction for an incorrect answer. 10th question, however, is the risk and reward question. You can risk up to 30 points on the topic of your choice, or that you choose, and you get that question right, you get the points. You get it wrong or a non-answer, you lose those points. St. John's, same rules will apply to you, except you only get to choose from the remaining 2 topics. All right, what are those topics? Let's take a look. Topic number 1 is automobiles. Topic number 2 is international foods. And topic number 3 is domestic pets. Lima Shawnee, you get to choose between automobiles, international foods, or domestic pets.
Domestic pets, please.
Domestic pets for Lima Shawnee. All right, multiple choice question on domestic pets. Which has more vertebrae, cats, humans, or kangaroos? That would be Georgiana.
Cats.
Cats is correct at 53. The Basenji is the only dog breed that is famously unable to do what? That would be Georgiana.
Bark.
That is correct. True or false, kittens are typically born with green eyes. That would be Georgiana.
False.
False, they are blue. All hamsters share what physical trait that allows them to transport food? That would be Georgiana.
Large cheeks.
Will we accept large cheeks? She said large cheeks. They will accept that. They are also known as cheek pouches. Dogs and cats are the 2 most popular pets in the United States. What is the 3rd most popular? That would be Georgiana.
Fish.
Fish is correct. Ferrets are related to which wild animal in the Mustelidae family? That would be Georgiana.
Weasels.
Weasels is correct. Starts with an A. What is the specific scientific term for the defense mechanism used by many pet lizards, like leopard geckos and bearded dragons, where they voluntarily detach their tail to distract a predator? Autotomy is what we needed there. Multiple choice question. What 3-letter parasitic disease do you need to worry about your fish getting? Is it A, ICH, B, PHS, or C, RND? That would be Georgiana.
B.
Incorrect. It is A, ICH. An African gray is a popular species of what? That would be Georgiana.
Parrot.
Parrot is correct. Risk and reward time. The topic you have chosen is domestic pets. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments, or you can pass.
Okay, 30.
Going for 30 points on domestic pets. Which docile, medium-sized Australian lizard, known for its spiky throat flare and social behavior, is consistently ranked as the most popular pet reptile in the United States and Canada? That would be Georgiana.
Bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon is correct, and 30 points for you. All right, Lima Shawnee, that is the end of the round for you. It now goes to St. John's. You have the choice between the topics of international foods and automobiles.
International food.
International foods. A classic French dessert typically served in individual ramekins consisting of a creamy custard base and a hard layer of caramelized sugar on top. That would be Josh.
Macaroon.
Incorrect. Creme brulee is what we needed there. Multiple choice. Canadian favorite, French fries topped with gravy and cheese curds. That would be St. John. Stuart.
Poutine.
Poutine is correct. Did not even need the multiple choice. A thin French-style pancake served with a wide variety. That would be St. John's. Stuart.
Crepe.
Crepe is correct. A beet-based soup popular in Eastern European countries. In time? Yes. Josh.
Matzo ball.
Incorrect. Slide me over a bowl of borscht is what we needed there. Espresso-soaked ladyfingers topped with mascarpone cream and cocoa powder. That would be St. John's. James.
Tiramisu.
Tiramisu is correct. Polish comfort food, mashed potato-filled dumplings. That would be St. John's. James.
Pierogies.
Pierogies, yes. Multiple choice, traditional Korean side dish made from fermented vegetables. That will be St. John's. James.
Kimchi.
Kimchi is correct. Another multiple choice question for you. A chewy and slightly sweet Japanese dessert made from glutinous rice and often filled with red bean paste, matcha cream, or fruit. Is it A, tempura, B, mochi, or C, udon? That will be St. John's. James.
Mochi.
Mochi is correct. Staple grain that provided food for Incans. A clue here, it begins with Q. I'm sorry. Quinoa is what we needed there. Risk and reward time. The topic is international foods. It now goes to St. John's to decide if they are going to risk up to 30 points or pass.
20 points.
20 points on international foods for St. John's. A creamy, smoky Middle Eastern eggplant dip, often served with pita or vegetables. That would be St. John's. James.
Hummus.
Incorrect. Baba ganoush is what we needed there. Baba ganoush. Negative 20 points for St. John's. Let's take a look at our score and where we stand. St. John's currently at 100. Lima Shawnee at 130 points. Still a very close back and forth competition here. Stick around. Things are going to start warming up with the category round, and it's coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. St. John's, 100 points. Lima Shawnee at 130 points. Before we move to our next round, let's welcome in slot number 1 for Lima Shawnee. It is Jonah, and Jonah is a junior. The rest of our lineup is the same as the last round, so welcome back to all of you as well. This is the category round. This is where the power shifts a little bit to you, our teams. Where we have 6 categories to choose from. Inside each category are questions worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. But deductions do start now. That's right. Red alert, shields up. Deductions do start now. If you go for 15, you are risking 15 points. Same goes for 10, 20, 25, and 30. There is a double or nothing question hiding somewhere in there. It's exactly how it sounds. Double the points. No deduction. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. St. John's at 100 points. You get to make the first selection.
Superheroes for 30.
Superheroes for 30 points. Based on the clue provided, name the superhero I am referring to. This lawyer from Hell's Kitchen, that would be St. John's. Stuart.
Daredevil.
Daredevil is correct. St. John's in control, and we are tied.
Superheroes 25.
Superheroes for 25. This intergalactic space cop, that would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern is correct. Now back to Lima Shawnee.
Ologies for 30.
Ologies for 30 points. I will state the ology. You identify what it is the study of. Mycology. That will be St. John's. Josh.
Mushrooms.
Will we accept mushrooms? Yes. In control now is St. John's, and in the lead.
Ologies 25.
Ologies for 25. Dendrology. That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Skin.
Incorrect. St. John's, chance to steal. That would be Josh.
Sorry, forgot.
It would be trees. You were thinking dermatology. St. John's, you're still in control.
Ologies 20.
Ologies for 20 points. Etymology. That would be St. John's. Josh.
The origins of words.
Correct. St. John's in control.
15. Ologies.
15. Ologies. Ornithology. That would be St. John's. Josh.
Birds.
Birds is correct.
Finish the category.
Finishing the category, ologies for 10 points. Herpetology. That would be St. John's. Josh.
Plants.
Incorrect. Lima Shawnee, chance to steal. That would be Georgiana.
Reptiles.
Reptiles and or amphibians. All right, Lima Shawnee in control.
Superheroes 20.
Superheroes for 20 points. Princess Diana that would be St. John. Stewart.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is correct. In control, St. John's.
Superheroes 15.
Superheroes for 15. This superhero has a bit of an anger issue. That would be St. John's. Stewart.
The Hulk.
The Hulk is correct. Made worse after gamma radiation exposure. St. John's in control.
Superheroes 10.
Superheroes for 10 points. A photographer for the Daily Bugle. That would be Lima Shawnee. Georgiana.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is correct. Lima Shawnee in control.
Parts of speech 30.
Parts of speech for 30 points. Identify the part of speech based on the clues given. This type of speech tells you the relationship. That would be St. John's. Josh.
Preposition.
Preposition is correct. In control, St. John's.
Quotes for 30.
Quotes for 30 points. I will read a quote. You identify who it's most commonly attributed to. Genius is 1%. That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison is correct. In control, Lima Shawnee now.
Calendar history for 30.
For 30 points, calendar history. The shift to the Gregorian calendar required dropping 10. That would be St. John's. Josh.
July.
Incorrect. Required dropping 10 days from the calendar. In most Catholic countries, the day after October 4th, 1582, instantly became what date? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
January 1st.
Incorrect. October 15th, 1582. Lima Shawnee in control.
Calendar history for 25.
Calendar history for 25. Which figure in 1582 issued a papal, that would be St. John's. Josh.
Gregory.
More specific, please.
The 13th.
Correct. In control, St. John's.
Calendar 20.
Calendar history for 20 points. Who was the Roman general and statesman that would be St. John's. Josh.
Julius Caesar.
Correct.
Calendar 15.
Calendar for 15. The original Roman calendar attributed to Romulus that would be St. John's. Josh.
10.
10 months, had 10 months.
Calendar 10.
Calendar for 10. Which ancient civilization, that would be St. John's. James.
The Mayans.
Incorrect. Is credited with creating one of the earliest known 365-day calendars, primarily based on the solar cycle and a rising of the star Sirius. That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Egypt.
Egyptians is correct. Egypt, yes. In control is Lima Shawnee.
Parts of speech 25.
Parts of speech for 25. When you try a new food and say yum, what part that would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Interjection.
Interjection is correct. Lima Shawnee in control, making a move.
Parts of speech 20.
Parts of speech now for 20 points. In the sentence, she considered the plan carefully. What part of that would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Adverb.
Adverb is correct. What part of speech is carefully? In control now is Lima Shawnee.
Parts of speech 15.
Parts of speech for 15. Words like a, an, and the, that would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Articles.
Articles is correct. In control, Lima Shawnee making a move.
Parts for 10.
Parts of speech for 10 points. And, but, St. John's. Josh.
Conjunctions.
Conjunctions is correct. Now the power shifts to St. John's.
Quotes 25.
Famous quotes for 25. All the world's a stage. St. John's. Josh.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare is correct. In control, St. John's.
20. Same category.
Famous quotes for 20 points. You miss 100% of the shots. That would be St. John's. Josh.
Michael Jordan.
Incorrect. You miss 100%. That would be Lima Shawnee. Jonah.
Gretzky.
Gretzky is correct. Wayne Gretzky. In control is Lima Shawnee. End of round. Let's take a look at our score. We have Lima Shawnee at 240 points, St. John's at 260 points. Still anybody's game. You can't get much closer than this. Brainstorm round is coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. Lima Shawnee, 240 points. St. John's, 260 points. If you're wondering where all the marbles went, they're right here in the brainstorm round. This is for all the marbles. All questions in this round are 20 points. Negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, but you cannot steal. I repeat, you cannot steal a question in this round. Lima Shawnee, St. John's, you at home. The brainstorm round starts right now. In what modern day country would you find the ruins of the ancient city of Troy? St. John's. Josh.
Turkey.
Turkey is correct. What is the name of the process used to determine the age of organic, that would be St. John's. Josh.
Carbon dating.
Correct. Which 1997 film was the first to gross over $1 billion worldwide? That would be St. John's. Stewart.
Titanic.
Correct. What is the common name for a malicious program? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Virus.
Virus is correct. What long-running NBC comedy features the Dunder Mifflin? That would be St. John's. Josh.
The Office.
The Office is correct. What life simulation series by Nintendo features villagers like that would be Lima Shawnee? Ezra.
Animal Crossing.
Correct. What Apple TV Plus comedy centers on an American football coach managing St. John's? Josh.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso is correct. What 2020 social deduction game went? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Among Us.
Correct. What 2022 cat adventure? That would be St. John's. Stewart.
Stray.
Stray is correct. Complete the following analogy. Tony Award is to theater as blank is to television. St. John's. Stewart.
Emmys.
Emmy is correct. Which two countries share the longest international land border in the world? That will be Lima Shawnee. Georgiana.
Canada and the United States.
Correct. Which animated Disney Pixar film features a group of emotions? That would be St. John's. Josh.
Inside Out.
Correct. Which simple machine consists of a rigid bar that pivots? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Lever.
Lever is correct. In coordinate geometry, what is the slope of a horizontal line? That would be St. John's. Josh.
0.
0 is correct. Which empire was ruled by Genghis Khan? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Mongol Empire.
Mongol Empire is correct. What is the name of a triangle with exactly two? That would be Lima Shawnee. Ezra.
Isosceles.
Isosceles is correct. The island of Hispaniola contains Haiti and what? That would be St. John's. James.
The Dominican Republic.
Correct. Which Frankish king was crowned emperor? That would be St. John's in time. Josh.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne is correct. Let's take a look at our score. Lima Shawnee 380, St. John's 480, and our winner of this brain game. Let's give it up for both of these teams. And in the spirit of good sportsmanship, let's come around, meet in the middle, shake hands, bump some fists, and we'll see you at the next BGSU Brain Game.